All right, today we're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating medicinal mushroom. It's been a key part of folk medicine for literally centuries, and now modern science is finally starting to figure out what's really going on with it.
So when you first see it, you might not think much of it at all. Meet the chaga mushroom. I mean, it basically grows as this black, kind of crusty mass on birch trees in really cold places. Honestly, it looks less like a mushroom and more like a big old scar or, yeah, a lump of burnt charcoal just stuck to the side of the tree.
But as you've probably guessed, its strange looks are hiding a pretty incredible story. What if this weird-looking fungus is actually one of nature's most powerful remedies? That's the exact question we're going to dig into.
Okay, so before we go any further, let's get down to basics first. What exactly is this stuff we call chaga?
Well, chaga is a parasitic fungus. It lives on and gets its nutrients from a host tree, almost always a birch tree in those cold northern forests. Now, here's a key detail. It's what's called a sterile conch. That black chunk you see? That's not a mushroom cap you can pick. It's a really dense, hard mass of the fungus's root system, or mycelium. And get this, it grows incredibly slowly. It can live on a single tree for 30, 50, even 80 years, just slowly concentrating all of these powerful compounds it pulls from the birch tree itself. So how does a simple fungus turn into this legendary traditional medicine? Well, this isn't some new health trend that just popped up on social media. Its roots go way, way back. We're talking about recorded use going all the way back to the 16th century in places like Siberia and Russia. In traditional Siberian medicine, it was the go-to for really serious stuff like tuberculosis and liver problems. In Russia, people would make tinctures with it for stomach issues and even some cancers. And it's this incredibly long and consistent history that made modern scientists finally sit up and say, okay, we need to take a closer look at this. So when the scientists got this thing into the lab, what did they actually find? They wanted to know what the secret sauce was. What's inside this fungus that could possibly explain its reputation? Well, it turns out chaga is basically a walking chemical arsenal. Research boils it down to three main groups of heavy hitters: compounds called triterpenoids, complex carbs called polysaccharides, and a bunch of antioxidants known as phenols and flavonoids. This right here is the bioactive toolkit that's doing all the hard work. And just look at this. You don't have to be a chemist to get the main point here, right? This thing is an absolute chemical factory. Every one of those structures is a unique compound that's been pulled out of chaga. It's this mind-boggling diversity of molecules that we're about to explore. Okay, so we've got this incredible chemical toolkit. The big question is, what does it actually do for us? Let's take a quick tour of the potential health benefits that researchers are looking at. This summary from a scientific review gives us the perfect bird's-eye view. The research covers a huge spectrum of possibilities, from being an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant, all the way to anti-diabetic and anti-fatigue. Let's zoom in on a couple of the most studied areas. All right, first up, let's see how chaga might actually help protect our bodies at the most basic level, our very own cells. This highlights two really big areas. The first is its power as an antioxidant, which basically means it helps fight off these damaging molecules called free radicals that cause stress in our cells. The second is its potential anti-cancer properties. Now, it's important to note, these are lab studies, but they've shown that chaga extracts can actually slow down the growth of various cancer cells, like lung, colorectal, and breast cancer. Okay, next up, let's shift gears to another major area of research, chaga's potential to help support our metabolism. Here, scientists are really focused on two things: possible anti-diabetic and anti-obesity effects. The preclinical studies, mostly done on animal models so far, suggest that chaga might help lower blood sugar, improve insulin resistance, and even help manage cholesterol. And this is where it all really comes together. We can actually start to draw a line directly from these health benefits back to those specific compounds we talked about earlier. This table sums it up perfectly. The triterpenoids, some of which come straight from the birch tree, are tightly linked to the anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory effects. The polysaccharides seem to be the key players for the anti-diabetic and anti-fatigue properties. And those phenols and flavonoids, they're the primary engine behind chaga's powerful antioxidant activity. So, after looking at the ancient history and the modern science, what's the big takeaway here? Where does all of this leave us with chaga right now? You really have to look at this with a balanced view. On one hand, the promise is undeniable. Chaga is an amazing natural source of compounds with this huge range of potential. But And this is a big but, we also have to be cautious. Most of this research is still in early stages, in test tubes or on animals. We need more solid human trials to really confirm these effects. We also need to figure out how it might interact with other drugs, and, very importantly, we have to talk about the sustainability of harvesting it from the wild as it gets more popular. And all of that leaves us with one final big question. Chaga is the perfect case study for this. As science continues to unlock the secrets of these ancient remedies, how do we balance the incredible potential of nature's pharmacy with the absolute need for modern, rigorous scientific proof? It's something we're all going to have to think about.